So I'm going to go to Mark first, and he's going to tell us about the bad and the ugly.
Well, frankly, if the Retaliators and Jeepers Creepers Reborn is all that cinema is good for, it deserves to die a slow and painful death, quite frankly. Baffling theatrical releases, these. The only explanation that I can see for these is that there's just a dearth of anything else and they desperately needed content. They are the Netflix original movies of the theatrical landscape, these two. Reviews are up. I won't go into too much detail. Retaliators, a very strange mix of grungy, hostel-esque revenge torture porn movie that is dressed up as some cod religious ethical conundrum, and then turns into an insane blood-drenched zombie movie at the end. It sounds
Should
great.
Be fun by the sound of that.
It sounds great. It's not. They've completely forgot to have any fun of it. Structurally, it's all over the shop. It craps the bed, gives away its massive third act twist with an insane prologue that takes foreshadowing to new heights and possibly even more unforgiving. It's packed full of those god-awful middle-aged rock star cameos that everyone just wishes there was more of in their cinema. So that's Retaliators. But quite frankly, that was the apocalypse now compared to Jeepers Creepers Reborn, which, believe me, dear listeners, Kaz offered to pay me money to write a review for, and I turned him down because I didn't want to spend a single second more thinking about that piece of trash. I mean, Jeepers Creepers, the franchise no one wanted back from a creator who no one wanted back. And even if... I mean, it starts off well. The obligatory celeb cameo, Dee Wallace shows up in a short 5-minute rerun of the first film that gives you a false sense of security that this might actually not be terrible. But then, of course, we hurtle straight into the deepest depths of Hertfordshire, masquerading poorly for the deep south of Louisiana, where the old chestnut now, the internet influencers are paraded for a whole host of horror. There's a horror convention thing, which just honestly, words fail me about how terrible it looks.
That's almost the plot of the terrible Texas Chainsaw reboot.
Yes.
No.
It's. I mean, you've never seen such terrible compositing in your life. Honestly, there's VFX here that won't pass QA at the asylum, and it's almost worth it because I am pretty sure rumors abound on the internet that Victor Salva tried to sabotage the production of this because he was excluded from it. And when you see the very final shot of this, you would go, yep, he definitely sabotaged that. It is one of the most, well, it's either the most unintentionally funny or the most intentionally terrible ending you've probably ever seen to a horror film. And so quite frankly, how either of those got time of day at your local multiplex is beyond me. The only thing I can think of is it's the COVID lull is now starting to hit. The impact and the delays of COVID have now meant that production, the end results, shall we say, have slowed down, and there's just nothing to fill them with. But
Paramount is funding all of these in order to shove more people in Top Gun screens.
Possibly. So yeah, definitely the bad and the ugly there.
Tom has seen a lot of these. There's some good in amongst the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
Tell us about them.
Well, of the list that you sort of reeled off at the beginning of the section, the only one that I'm going to say I could wholeheartedly recommend is Bodies, 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 which is just an absolutely superb riff on the teen slasher. There is a sort of revitalizing of using teen slashers to make a wider point about something. And it really reminded me of when Scream was new. And at the point when Scream came out, slashers had a pretty terrible name, I would say. Up until for a long time, they had a pretty terrible name. And with Scream, there was like an injection of something into it, like a bit of meta commentary, a bit of humor. And I feel like the period between Scream and now, we've had a lot of dross, a lot of like stock slasher nonsense. We've also had some attempts to be a bit clever, very few of which have gone anywhere at all. But it's not until watching Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was I like, this is it. This is the type of slasher that is interesting to watch and clever and funny and also quite gruesome and a good horror movie as well as all those things. It's essentially a group of teenagers who gather at their rich friend's house to get drunk and get high, and then they decide to play like a teenage game, like a Wink Murder, like a werewolves type game, and it goes wrong. And it's just great. It's stylish and atmospheric and all the things that you want from a horror movie. Plus. It's brilliant. If you get the chance to go and see it, and you're not a scaredy cat, then check it out because it's really good.
Excellent. Sold.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a recommendation in there.